When I was 4 months pregnant, we did an ultrasound and they found a shadow on his heart. The neonatologist had to get a textbook out to tell us about his tumor. We're like, oh, this is gonna be a long ride. When he was 2, he started the seizure activity involved with the lesions on his brain. They'd get them under control with different levels of medications and then they would creep back in. So he was down, just constantly. And I'm like, I know that there's a kid in there that is not this kid. And that made us connect to the Bluebird Clinic.
I've been working with the Bluebird Circle for 35 years now. They were the catalyst for so much of what's happened in the last decade at Texas Children's Hospital. And I learned about their magnificence. And I learned about the special and the unique culture of the Bluebird Circle.
A group of professional women volunteering their time to either raise money or to provide service to the Bluebird Circle Clinic for Pediatric Neurology. They're also funding some research at Baylor College of Medicine in Adult Neurology, the Rett Center, and they're also funding a unique Bluebird Clinical Research Center where we are trying to move to this translational research from bench to bedside.
The Bluebirds just make the environment at the clinic. You know, a smiling face, somebody who greets them warmly, who doesn't turn away because they don't know how to look at a child who has special needs, is so meaningful to these families. I feel like most of my families feel very cherished after a visit.
They know that I'm in the front lines and I'm there watching it happen, and they listen to me and always take into consideration what I say. It's this network of people who are all invested in not only taking care, but finding the next thing, exploring what the possibilities are.
One of the really wonderful things about working here in the Bluebird Clinic for Pediatric Neurology is our partnership with the Neurologic Research Institute. So we have the largest children's hospital in North America. In partnership, we have the only freestanding Neurologic Research Institute right next door with my partners in basic science. It's a unique relationship that really doesn't exist anywhere else.
This is a real partnership between the Bluebirds Circle, physicians, the clinicians in the hospital, and the researchers here at the NRI. Dedicated to understanding the neurological abnormalities in children and how we can understand them and how we can treat them.
This research was in the works of children who had seizures due to TS, this everolimus trial, and we were very interested. That's when I got to meet Dr. Will Fong.
We're really excited about this particular clinical trial because it's testing a new type of medicine that's completely different than anything else we've ever done before. Based in the animal research that Dr. Swan has done in the Kane labs, that we've really seen completely changing the course of the epilepsy, and we really believe that this is disease-modifying therapy that can fix the epilepsy, not just control the seizures.
We actually had a drug that was FDA approved for other purposes. We were able to get a hold of that drug and we say, okay, can this work? Can this work in these children? Can we actually correct the molecular abnormality with this magic drug? So what we did was we created an animal model of this disorder. And it turned out these mice had epilepsy just like the kids did. And when we gave them this drug, it stopped the epilepsy. It stopped completely. We finally got permission from the FDA to begin a clinical trial. And of the 20 kids that we were permitted to treat, 5 of them are today seizure-free. A miracle.
We believe that this is the first step on a long pathway of completely changing our ability to manage many different types of epilepsy. This is completely a game changer.
Overall, the result has been life-changing. Like, literally, this drug has let me see my child's happy side for the first time ever.
Many of these children with seizures don't respond as well as they should, and we need to find better medicine, and this is the way to find better medicines. The most important thing I can say is to tell the Bluebirds and those who support the Bluebirds how grateful we are in the laboratory to have this kind of support.
That component that takes the discoveries in the laboratory to the patient is the Bluebird Circle Clinical Research Center, where we can actually start to fix or make better a neurologic problem.
From what I can tell at other institutions, I think there's very few examples of how well we work together and how well, hopefully, it comes together to improve multidisciplinary patient care.
Your researchers and your scientists are able to talk with your clinicians on a daily basis in the hallway and in the office and in the laboratory, and that's when discoveries happen with Rett syndrome and Angelman and Fragile X and dealing with this entire array of autistic spectrum disorders.
You okay? Okay, good.
The deep brain stimulation project that we've started has been very exciting, where we have found children who have a variety of different movements, having this electrode implanted into their brains. It's attached to a little device that's placed usually under the clavicle in the shoulder region. We can then send signals from that implanted computer battery into their brain and modulate their movements.
Best you can, high five me. Good job.
We have expanded the boundaries in cerebral palsy. We've also done it in Tourette syndrome. We have a child with autism who has abnormal movements. For these kids, the degree of independence that they can sometimes achieve has been phenomenal.
Good stuff. Now, see?
The opportunity to make real progress in neurology is upon us. We've seen a dramatic increase in the research activities in our clinic. It's a very exciting time to be moving this field forward.
I've treated many patients over the years, but we're just treating the disease and we can't fix it. Now we're going for fixing it and to maybe curing the children, which is really a big step.
Bluebird Circle has supported these efforts to increase or expand those research efforts and increase knowledge and ultimately to be able to help children.
It's hard to think of words that really express my gratitude at the clinical level for the Bluebirds helping me and the wonderful leadership and vision that Mr. Wallace and his team has here at Texas Children's Hospital.
Mark Wallace has been a visionary leader for Texas Children's Hospital, and he completely agrees with the vision that now is the time to treat neurologic disorders at their root cause. He's one of our great heroes, and he's really helped make the Bluebird Circle Clinic what it is today.
Here's what people don't understand, I think, about the Bluebird Circle. They're pioneers, they're creators, they're innovators, they're entrepreneurs. They were onto this in 1923. So that, to me, says it all about the Bluebird Circle. They are amazing, and they always have been, and I think they always will be.
I just always think back to how lucky my son is. Even 10 years ago, they hadn't isolated the gene. They didn't know what TSC was. There's just too much to offer our child here in medical care that we don't feel like we can get anyplace else. He's just really a lucky kid. He's right at the cusp of all this understanding.
This is an incredibly dedicated group of women who have been myopically focused for 89 years trying to improve care and outcomes for children. So they've been doing this for 9 decades. And the rest of medicine, I think, is just now catching up with the Bluebird Circle.